Hello, everyone, and welcome to the B2B Revenue Masters with Lead Forensics and Coltraco Ultrasonics. We are here today to talk about how Coltraco Ultrasonics mastered their lead generation and how you can do it too. I'm joined today by Chloe, and we were supposed to be joined by Adrian too, but he can't make it today, so we've got Chloe. So, Chloe, I'll just get you to introduce yourself if that's okay, first of all.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, my name's Chloe. I'm head of commercial at Coltraco Ultrasonics.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So today we're going to cover how you guys have transformed your B2B marketing efforts to take your lead generation to that next level. So for kind of context, we're going to go on a journey. We're going to start from the early stages that you guys found, you guys faced, through all of the strategies that you have implemented, or maybe not all of them, but the high level one. And then we'll go on to the advanced, innovative tactics that have turned your lead generation into the well-oiled machine that it is today. We're going to cover off though the lessons that have been learned, the challenges that have been faced, as well as then the successes as we kind of move forward, or as you move forward. So we'll jump right into it if that's okay, Chloe.
Yeah, brilliant.
So, let's first of all, let's roll back. So before you are where you are today, in terms of your lead generation, what was it that prompted you to review the whole process? What were the challenges and the pain points that you faced in terms of lead generation?
I think as an SME, we have a similar issue as many other companies. Lead generation is tough and it can be really expensive. And without real visibility onto the quality of your leads or which methods are working in the in the best way, it's a bit like being in a dark room. You have no idea really which methods you should be picking. As an SME, our marketing budget is restricted by by choosing certain methodologies, and so one of the things that we really struggled with, and the reason why we did such a big review and such a big review with lead forensics also, is because we were getting to the point where we were unsure on which were the most appropriate methods for us, and how to create really valuable leads and more in an age where obviously we no longer sell physically. The internet is our shop, and so how do we make our shop front really attractive, and how do we invite people in? So that's what we had such a big change.
Amazing. And in terms of your so where did you sort of begin in terms of overhauling your lead gen? What were some of those initial strategies that you kind of you looked at, and how did you prioritize? Or how did you prioritize in general, in terms of where you focused your efforts and your budget?
So much of our efforts have changed in the last 10 years to digital. I'm sure it's the same with every single company. We've had to completely review our website. I think probably about 5 years ago was the first new version of our website. Since then, we've probably done two with our website agency, two new versions of it, because the internet is always changing. So SEO is a major, it's a major area in which we have to designate priority. But with that becomes success of email marketing campaigns, social marketing campaigns, PPC, and everything that you do is so interconnected. But the foundation and the hub is our website. And the work of lead forensics is really the reason why we did um, such a big overhaul with lead forensics is after we invested so much money into our new websites, into thinking about customer journeys, we wanted to really find out if what we were thinking was true. Are customers navigating our website in the way that we expect? What are customers looking at? And are we attracting the right customers? Are we using the right keywords? That goes for both SEO and PPC. So those are some of the biggest overhauls that we've done, particularly in the past year and a half.
And then, so how did you, so you talked about obviously overwhelming PPC and SEO there. How did you start, and obviously your website being like the central kind of area, how did you start using your website visitor data to inform those lead generation efforts?
Yeah, and that's a really good point. I think that for us, the start point for us is our lead forensics daily visitor report. It's so important for us to make sure that we are attracting the right types of companies to our website. That's helped us be able to work on things like our market sector pages, changing text in our pages to make sure our product pages to make sure that we're including relevant case studies for particular industries. We were able to identify pain points. We have particular pages that we have very high visitor traffic to, but high bounce rates as well. And it allowed us to have a look at those pages and think, okay, well, what is the problem that we're having on them? Why are people only spending 3 seconds? And things like lead forensics are really useful in telling us that, particularly because we can see our most valued target customers. If we have a customer who visits our website who would be a top priority for us to convert to a customer, and we can see the way in which they're using our website, that's extremely important information for us to then go and work with our website agency so that we can make sure that our website is performing as it should be.
Amazing, amazing. And actually, that's actually a good kind of like, feels like a really good time to mention that that we have recently created a book which is called 101 Ways to Drive Revenue from Your Website. So just thinking about SEO, PPC there, and actually like using your website as an absolute engine. That's kind of what the book covers off, and there's a lot of ways that we speak to obviously a lot of different people around how they are driving revenue from their website. So we've kind of like distilled all of that into a big book that's actually just dropped on Amazon for $79. And everyone who attends the webinar today, though, will get a free digital copy of that book. It's beautiful as well. It's a beautiful book. If anyone wants to check out lead forensics, obviously we identify your anonymous website visitors. Then we'll also send them a free hard copy of the book. And I'm a lover of a bookshelf, so a good book for the desk is kind of essential. So anyone who requests a demonstration of lead forensics off the back of this book, will get a free copy of that 101 Ways to Drive Revenue from Your Website. So we're just going to flash up a poll on the screen now, and you can let me know if you would like to have a free trial of lead forensics, so you can see your website visitors for yourself, and kind of feed that into your SEO and PPC, just like Chloe has done. So whilst we're just waiting for that poll to kind of load, we'll just kind of wait here for a second for everyone to complete that. The website is obviously the most underutilized asset in B2B, so yeah, the book covers everything from lead generation to conversions to driving traffic. And obviously we can offer a free trial of lead forensics so everyone can see their data for themselves. So what we'll do is we'll just take that poll down, and then we'll move on actually to paid marketing. So we touched on that a little bit just a second ago, because one, it's very expensive to do, and increasingly so, but it also carries its own set of risks and rewards. So how did you approach the optimization of those PPC campaigns specifically?
I think this is such a brilliant question for us, because I think that our experience is probably that of other SME manufacturers. We have never engaged with PPC before until earlier this year. We decided we would do a trial of it. We were, interested to dip our toe in the water, but where to start is extremely difficult. And so we were very fortunate to be able to work with a brilliant company on that. But one of the challenges that we had is trying to understand who are our adverts drawing to our website. It's one thing to know sort of the number of clicks that you're having and the number of inquiry generations, but are we getting the right types of companies? Well, there's one thing to be able to see the leads that come in and assess them, and are they genuine leads or are they not? But it was very interesting for us because we were able to set up a report in lead forensics for purely for our PPC only leads, which we made sure we only sort of got it once a week, and we looked through and we were able to see that some of the campaigns that we were running were not bringing the right types of customers. They were not bringing genuine and true customers. And so we realized we're actually spending budget here on a campaign that without lead forensics, we wouldn't have known, we'd have kept it running thinking, oh, is it working? Is it not working?
Yes.
And it was really useful to be able to see, oh, hang on a minute, actually, this campaign, this keyword that we're targeting, this area that we're looking at is not beneficial for us. And, rather than just throwing money into it and, hoping for the best, we actually made able to make an informed decision so that we could target different areas. And then we could look at what really worked and what hasn't. So it's very, very useful to be able to, again, see who is coming. It's one thing to know, what people are clicking on, what people are looking at, but who is it? That's the key for a marketer to know. Yeah, it's really good information.
So in terms of that, then, were you able to, as well as identifying, your campaigns that weren't working, I'm guessing it also enabled you to identify the campaigns that really were working. Yes. And were you able to switch your budget then as a result?
Precisely. So exactly. So for our ongoing PPC, we realized that from looking from the Google Analytics, but also the lead forensics analytics, that we need to focus heavily more on our product campaigns, and that more generic campaigns are just not as successful for us. And we were able to see that really target customers were coming in on certain products and they were doing very well. So that's where we can put our focus, and that's where we can continue to drive and generate quality leads from.
So it really enabled you to, I guess, it's a more product focused campaigns. It's like focusing on that bottom of the funnel kind of intent rather than your generic.
Yes.
Low intent, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And then those generic keywords are often a lot more expensive anyway.
Yeah.
So so it really helps. But when you're just starting out and you don't know, we don't know which is gonna generate the most business for us. So it was brilliant that within a couple of months we had enough data to be able to make informed decisions, rather than just shots in the dark and hoping for the best.
When I get to it with PPC as well, it's exactly as you say, you kind of get your click count, and you can get some vague stats from Google Analytics and that sort of thing. But actually being able to see, well, these businesses have clicked our ad, they've landed on our site as a result. What do we do with them next? It kind of gives you an avenue to better monetize what you're getting from those campaigns. Absolutely. As well. They're not just, like ghost visitors anymore. They're actually ones you can see.
Absolutely, yeah. And it was useful that obviously on Google you can see the time in which someone has completed a conversion, and you can marry that up with your CRM records. But it's quite useful then to be able to go onto the lead forensics data and be able to, and talking about CRMs, we have ours integrated, and you can start to then see what they've been looking at, how long they've been spending on particular pages and what instruments that they've moved across our website looking at. And there's just a lot more information that you can glean by connecting them together.
Because it helps you to just build a better profile of actually what's the intent behind this particular prospect or customer, rather than guesswork.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's really valuable.
On then to SEO. So obviously SEO can be an absolute game changer when it's done right. And I know that you guys use an agency to support with your SEO effort. How do you then make sure that, or how do you use data to then make sure that they are, I guess you're making your agency deliver the most value back to you. So how do you make sure that they are attracting the right prospects and focusing your SEO in the right way?
Yeah, it's a brilliant question. I mean, we are very lucky that the SEO agency that we work with are brilliant. They are absolutely fantastic. We've been working with them for probably 5 or 6 years now. But one of the things that we have set up on Lead Forensics, which really we find empowers our discussions with the agency, is we have a keyword visitor, a keyword list, sorry, that we get reported to us on a weekly basis. And it really helps us in understanding the terms in which people are coming to our website. Obviously, we understand, SEO is a huge field and there's so many different tracking tools you can have, but many useful discussions we've had with our website agency as a result of terms that we've been seeing on that reporting. I mean, probably 3 or 4 years ago, or maybe a little bit longer, maybe 5 years ago, the terms that we were seeing on that list through Lead Forensics were not relevant. And we were thinking, why are
Interesting.
such odd things coming up on this report? And it tied in with the overall overhaul that we were doing with our website at any point, and all of the SEO work that we've been doing to restructure to be really targeted to
Mhm.
our instrumentation, to our markets, to our customers. And it's reassuring that now when we receive those weekly reports, the terms that we are seeing on there are exactly the right terms that we want people to be
Yeah.
searching for to come to our website. So some very useful discussions have come with our agencies and some part to play in the strategy that we've taken over the past 3 or 4 years, particularly in restructuring our website. I think twice in that time. In having a full understanding
Mm.
of what are we ranking for, and are we ranking for the right things?
I think that that's a really good point about ranking for the right things, because I think a lot of people fall into the trap of getting to, I don't know, page one, or looking at, how they're ranking for, page one, and they might have, I don't know, like, I don't know, 100 positions for page one or something. But actually, if they are 100 page one positions that are completely irrelevant, then that's pointless,
Absolutely.
right? You've got to be ranking for the
Yeah.
right stuff. And I think
Yeah.
loads of marketeers miss that point. It's not about just getting rank, it's ranking for the right stuff.
It's totally, there's no point driving and spending a lot of money to generate and drive business, or drive people to traffic to your website if it's completely the wrong traffic,
Yeah,
because it will just do nothing but bounce. And
yeah.
I think that was, something that we've really changed in the past, 5 years, so that we're extremely targeted. We restructured our website to put our instruments by category. So we were, particular markets and particular categories of instrumentation were put together. And then we made sure that the keywords are very, very hyper targeted to that category, so that the customers that land on that page are the right types of customers, and more likely to then click through and, inquire. And, we're a B2B company, and for us, we're entirely reliant on our inquiries and lead generation.
Mhm.
And so therefore the quality of the companies coming to us is extremely important, more so than quantity.
And that's interesting. So so when you think back to that 5 years ago, when you said that you were getting the traffic from a relevant kind of, keyword and that sort of thing, um, have you used that data to look at, right, these are the types of businesses that we want to attract. This is what they're visiting us from. This is what they're searching
Yeah,
for. And then apply that to your SEO strategy so you get more of the businesses that are searching for the
absolutely.
right things from a relevance perspective.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of that comes from content, like the content, because I think probably 8, 10 years ago, the thought, particularly the thought that we had was with content, was the more you chuck out, the better on anything. Just content. Try and, get as much information out there as you can. But if you actually are not posting relevant content to yourself
Mm.
and your business and your customers, then you can't do anything right with that. So being able to use Lead Forensics and be able to see, okay, well, particular pages are drawing customers, particular blogs are being really successful, and these are the right types of blogs. Therefore, we should
Mm.
be able to duplicate that. So absolutely, it's helped shape our content marketing plan as well.
Interesting, because I think, like you say, like a number of years ago, still what I said now, like content is king, and content is king. but it has to be positioned in the right way. And
Yes.
like you say, you want to drive relevant traffic. So you've got to SEO optimize for where the right traffic comes from. And if you don't know where the right traffic's coming from in the first place, then how can you even start an SEO strategy if you don't know what people are looking
It's
for,
true.
you know?
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, it's really an important part of SEO. And I mean, I'm not, don't want to take credit, because obviously our agency are incredible, and I'm not, I'm not claiming that, we've done all, we're the absolute be all end alls, but I think that having informed discussions is really important, because the more that we know, the better that we can have the best discussions with our agency.
Exactly as you say, it's enabling those conversations to be data driven based upon fact in terms of what you're seeing rather than just theory. And then, like you say, with those conversations with your agency can shape your SEO strategy to actually drive greater effectiveness for you and also for them, because they want you to be successful as much as you want to be successful, don't they?
Yeah.
So, that makes complete sense how you've done that. I think that's actually something that a lot of marketers miss. It's not just SEO for SEO's sake. It's not just content for content's sake. Actually, you need to make sure it's entirely relevant and be data driven in those discussions out there.
Definitely.
So we also we touched on this a second ago about your data being integrated, because I believe you use Salesforce as your CRM. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
So integrating the tech stack can be really tough, and integrating a marketing tech stack can be tough. Integrating a sales and marketing tech stack can be even harder. So how have you managed getting your website data into Salesforce, and then what benefits have you seen from actually going through that integration pain?
Well, that was something that we embarked upon this year. We had a discussion with our account manager at Lead Forensics on the next step. We'd been toying with the idea of integrating Lead Forensics with Salesforce, but we couldn't bear the pain. It's obviously a significant time and process to undertake it. But we were assured, don't worry, if you do this, we will support you throughout. We will help you. We will make sure it works. I can't take out credit, because my colleague Helen has the patience of a saint, and she was the one who actually undertook the process. And some of your colleagues at Lead Forensics spent a lot of time helping us when we were, putting things in the wrong place. But we have now integrated Lead Forensics into Salesforce. And it's become quite fundamental for us, because for us, it's really, really important that when we're having discussions with our customers, that we're having valuable discussions. We want to be talking to our customers about our technologies that actually will support and help them. We have a ethos here at Coltraco that we will never sell instrumentation that's not suitable for an application. And so being able to in one place where our sales team are living and breathing every day on our Salesforce, our CRM, for them to be able to have a look at what customers are looking at before they can have discussions with them, being able to have communications with them to make sure that we are actually helping our customers, and we're not, just throwing things at them for no reason, or just overloading with them, because we understand that our customers are extremely busy. And sometimes you press send and receive on your inbox and you receive hundreds of things, and we only want to provide targeted information that's beneficial. So being able to merge that Salesforce, that Lead Forensics data onto our Salesforce has actually really helped the customer conversations that we're having, to make sure that we're having really valuable discussions with them, rather than just trying to say anything that we can possibly, provide to a customer.
I guess particularly if you know that this customer has looked at this complementary product or something like that, rather than, like you say, just scattergunning with any old message and hoping that something hits, you can be really targeted. And I'd say from a sales perspective, if they can be educated as to what that prospect or customer is interested in and ahead of the conversation, they can lead that conversation with much more confidence than if they're just trying to find what's gonna hook them in,
Yeah, it's true. And we manufacture 28 instruments and systems.
Hmm.
So, and sometimes our customers know their challenge and what issue they're facing and they're trying to address.
Yeah,
But it's hard for them to know which in the range, if they, do I need?
yeah,
And to be able to have an understanding of what they're looking at means that we can really help them and have a useful discussion about what their challenge is and how can we address that,
yeah,
rather than, are you looking at this? Are you looking at this? Are you interested in this?
yeah.
We can have a much more detailed discussion.
Mm.
And we found it to be extremely useful. And I think everyone in our sales team is using lead forensics on a daily basis now. We get a report every morning of who has been on the web, who's visited our website, which really great, and now also integrated into Salesforce, is
Mhm.
very beneficial for our sales team to be able to have good quality conversations with our customers at the
Mhm.
right time.
Yeah, and like you say, they don't necessarily even need to visit a product. If you've got a blog about a
Yeah,
challenge, then
yeah,
but I'm gonna guess that your sales team are experts on those 28 instruments. So they know that inside out. What they
yeah.
don't necessarily know, where the knowledge gap is what challenge every single one of your customers is facing. If they can be educated with regard to the challenge because of what content they're digesting, they
Yeah.
already know about your product or your instrument. If they can join the queue, then that conversation is much more valuable for the prospect.
Absolutely, and that's the whole point for us. Our conversations, we never want to call someone up and just constantly just drone on about all of our different instruments. We
Yeah.
really want to address the challenges of our customers.
Yeah.
We're really passionate about that, and about doing it in an efficient way, because like I said, everyone's so busy and you don't want to be stuck on the phone for so many hours. So if we can find out which applications our customers are trying to deal with, then we can really help them. And many of
Yeah.
our customers, because we work in so many market sectors, and in industrial market sectors, have got different applications. And
Mm.
being able to support through those discussions it just means that we can really help our customers to the best of our ability,
Yeah.
rather than just trying to sell coldly. That's not,
Yeah.
we are trying to build relationships rather than just to try and cold call.
Well, and education is absolutely the key to that, isn't it? If you're trying to build a foundation or trying to build a relationship on a solid foundation, your representatives need to be educated on that market, what they're, like you
Yeah,
say, that what they're
yeah,
interested in, all of that sort of stuff. So it kind of enables them to build that rapport quicker.
yeah, for sure, certainly, yeah, absolutely. And that's been entirely our experience since we've integrated. I'm really pleased we did it. It was on the 2024 list of do we?
Yeah.
And then we took the plunge and we did it. And I'm
Mm.
really, really pleased that we have. I think it's really special.
Well, and it's a really, I'm going to say relatively unusual that you've almost got like this marketing solution that actually has a solid thread through to actually what the sales team are doing every single day. And it's so
Yeah,
tightly entangled that actually it just works. I think
yeah,
that's great. That's
definitely.
relatively rare, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we use the forensics in both our marketing and our sales.
Mm.
It's part of all of our pipeline. And of course, it's worth mentioning that we don't we occasionally use it to help us find leads.
Mm.
Obviously, there's the ability on there to get telephone numbers and things. So if we've got a key customer on our website that we want to target, then we can also use that capability of
Mm.
lead forensics and the data that's on there to help that, again, purely because we are, as a company, when it comes to our marketing and sales, we're not interested in sort of like mass spam and trying to get as much,
Yeah.
but we find really targeted contacts, and having a really good understanding of what a customer is expecting or looking for. And those are things that lead forensics offers through sales and marketing.
Because I'm guessing that, within your sector, you probably know probably got an ICP, I would imagine, of the types of, businesses that
Yeah,
you're going to be your customers.
yeah,
And
definitely.
and and so I guess it enables you to give a more ABM type approach in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's entirely that's our approach. We use our visitor list that we receive every morning from Lead Forensics to be able to, we might receive, I don't know how many customers that have visited or potential customers visited, but we will take a really targeted approach on those that we, will follow up, because um we know who our customers are, and we
Yeah,
know who we can successfully have conversations with.
yeah,
So yeah, we really do take an ABM approach with Lead Forensics.
that's it. Perfect. Well, actually, let's talk about kind of learning as you go, because obviously not every strategy works out as you plan. Um,
Yeah.
is there anything along that journey of kind of, I guess, that evolution and that becoming kind of much more data driven, that sort of thing, in terms of all of your strategy? Is there anything that haven't gone quite right, and what did you kind of learn from that experience?
Well, I think it probably harks back to the PPC
Mm.
experiment. You could call it experiment. Before this year, we'd never looked at PPC. Never even. I didn't even know. I mean, obviously knew what PPC was, but I just hadn't experienced it or hadn't tried to implement it into our business.
Yeah,
And that learning as you go, of learning, well, actually, this doesn't work for us as a company. Doesn't
yeah,
mean it wouldn't work for another company, because, for example, e-commerce businesses, I imagine there's particular different methods of PPC that you'd have to use.
yeah,
Um, but there's a lot of informed information for that you can receive from Lead Forensics, which can help you decide what's not working. And, like I was saying with our SEO, and realizing that just putting out endless content
mm,
is not the best approach for us. It
yeah,
might be for another business, but for us, it's not
yeah,
not the best SEO strategy for us. So I think that we've been able to use the information on a daily basis
mm,
to make small adjustments, and small adjustments can be really powerful, rather than trying to overhaul strategies all the time. So yeah, we've definitely learned a lot
mm.
as we go, as we've gone, and I'm sure we will continue to.
And I think that's the thing, is if you're kind of, always take a view of continuous improvement and you never close down
Yeah,
to evolution, then, you can only get better and better. It's like that whole kind of winner stays on approach. Like, does this work? Is it
yeah,
better or worse? That
yeah,
sort of thing. Um, but then also, I think, in any industry, like PPC has become really expensive, and there's lots of SEO
very.
companies out there, not your one, that, will drain a ton of money. And
Yeah,
so actually, if anyone is embarking on PPC or SEO, it's well worth them knowing what they want to achieve out of it, rather than just being like, I'm going to do a
definitely.
bit of PPC, I'm going to do a bit of SEO, because
Yeah.
they could spend a ton of money on going nowhere if they don't take the approach that you guys have done.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many options. I mean, every day you get approached by something for any and every type of marketing
Yes.
solution possible, and you could spend an extraordinary amount of money on marketing. And for us as an SME, that's one of our challenges. How do we make sure we're allocating budget correctly? And so, what do we want to achieve? Well, we want to achieve leads. So if it's not generating leads, or it's not generating the right leads, then we know it's no good for us.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that, exactly. Um, so just before we hear from Chloe's final tips, Chloe, I always love to end a webinar on kind of this three. If people only just take away like three things from today and nothing else, what is that going to be? So I'll leave you for a couple of seconds just to think about those. And just
Okay, well, yeah, yeah. Sorry.
just before we see that, I just wanted to remind everyone that if you take a free trial of Lead Forensics to help you to identify your website visitors, integrate them with your CRM system, or use it for PPC, SEO strategy, that sort of thing, then we are offering a free trial. There's no obligation within the trial period, and you get to see your website data for yourselves. And if you take a free trial, you get a copy of our book, which is 101 ways to drive revenue from your website. It's a nice big desktop. I'm not sure if you can see this here, Chloe. It's a large book. So it's got lots of tips on there from various conversations we've had with people such as Chloe, who have kind of been there and done that in terms of maximizing their revenue from their website. So we'll just leave this poll up for a couple more seconds, and then we'll head over to your key takeaways, Chloe, which it seems like you've already got some ideas there.
Yeah.
So we're ready to go. Right. We'll take the poll down. Okay. Go for it, Chloe. What are your 3 key takeaways?
Well, the first one, and it's something I haven't necessarily covered so far, is so much of how we've integrated with lead forensics and the data that we're receiving from it all came from a discussion with our account manager at lead forensics, where we were saying, we just want to get more out of it. How do we use it in these in such ways? And that discussion opened up a whole world of, okay, well, you can get these reports, you can integrate with Salesforce, you can do all of these things with lead forensics. So number one would be absolutely to utilize the customer service team at lead forensics, because without those conversations, I don't think I would be able to sit here today and say, oh, lead forensics has become something that we use in our daily business. Our account manager went above and beyond to make sure that we were utilizing all of the functions that could help us as a business. So that would be top tip number 1. And tip number 2 would be, don't be afraid to integrate with your CRM. It sounds a lot worse than it was. I'm really glad we've done it. So yeah, no, it was not as bad as we thought it would be to get through it. And now the information that we can receive from that is so beneficial to us. So that's probably my 2 top tips. But yeah, those would be the one. Yeah.
Well, I think that it's similar to what you said about, obviously, your team in terms of your customers. I know that so many of our customers cite speaking to our customer success team as absolutely instrumental in terms of their success. I think in first and tech, it's relatively rare that you will have have your hand held as closely as our customer success team do, and that's why they are cited so often. And that is because they have seen it, they have worked with lots of marketeers, and they can often put some things on your radar that, because you're thinking about your own business, you might not necessarily have thought about, oh, we could do this, we could do that. And so they're absolutely, like you say, ideas instigators. And ultimately you got to run with it. But hopefully you'll benefit from those ideas, in your strategies too. So I'm glad to hear that they were really supportive
Very.
for you. And then I think, like you say, if you can integrate your data into your CRM, it always sounds very scary to do that and long-winded to do that, but it doesn't have to be. And actually then it does mean that the foundation of your data-driven decisions is there, and it just works. Ultimately, you do the kind of pain of getting the integration up front, and then it just works from there. So you don't need to worry about it anymore. You don't need to worry about spreadsheets anymore. It all I know you will probably still do it with some spreadsheets, but it all kind of goes away a little bit. And becomes much more seamless. And so I know that integration does scare some people away, but I think that's a great takeaway, is to try and get things integrated as best you can, so that you're not having to do so many manual tasks as you move forward, and actually you can get the systems giving you the insight that you need to then make decisions that can help guide your strategy. I think that's a great idea. It's a great suggestion for sure. So what we're going to do is we might have some questions from the audience, but I think we've just run out of time today. I'm really sorry, Chloe. I've just found everything you've been saying so interesting that I kind of made you elaborate on a few points. I'm sorry about that. So we've run out of time. So what we'll do is, if anyone does have any questions or comments or feedback or thoughts or anything like that, feel free to reach out to us. You can either pop it in the comment section, or you can reach out to myself. So I'm Lina Waite on Lead Forensics on LinkedIn. Or Chloe, I'm guessing that you're probably on LinkedIn too.
I am indeed. Yeah, absolutely. Hit me up.
Perfect. So always open to questions. And obviously, if you pop anything in the comments question, we'll make sure that they get to get Chloe and that your questions get answered. So I guess that's just over to me to say thank you so much, Chloe, for your time today. I really, really do appreciate it. You've been a pleasure to chat with, and we wish you so much success as you kind of move forward. Um, and yeah, we wish everybody a nice afternoon. Thank you so much, and we hope to see everyone again soon. Thank you, Chloe.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. A total pleasure. Yeah,
See you
brilliant.
again soon.
Take care. Bye. Bye.